Live now, the buzzword in education is all about innovation, and let's talk about one of those innovations. It's all around team teaching and how you put children at the center of your teaching methodology. Joining me in studio to talk about this innovation is Chinezi Chijioke, who's the CEO of Pioneer Academies. Chinezi, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
So let's talk about this concept of team teaching, because for me it's an interesting concept to have three teachers in a classroom.
Sure. What this is a shift away from sort of the isolated teacher alone doing the prep and the practice and working alone with students to a model where you've got teachers working really collaboratively and rigorously. So for students it's good because you've got multiple teachers who are thinking about you, preparing for you, supporting you, getting to know you. And for teachers it's great because you've got a partner on whom to work on your practice.
Where does this innovation in teaching come from?
Sure, it's actually, well, more broadly for Pioneer Academies, innovation is really core to what we want for our students and for our teachers. So it actually is one of the practices by which we put into practice this vision of a school in which students are learning to create the world and create the environments, not just memorize. And so team teaching is one concept that we came across as we studied different schools across the world that were thinking about different ways to support students better and to support teachers to grow. And so we really liked it because we saw teachers, it's like going to the gym alone and going to the gym with a partner. You know, you work harder, you do better, you get better
and you're more
ideas.
focused.
You're more focused, and you can spend more time thinking about what students need. You can split up different activities. You can work in smaller groups with students. So it creates a lot of flexibility and a lot of teamwork among teachers, which students then see. You know, if you want students to learn to be good, work well together in teams and collaborate, they need to see adults doing that, and team teaching gives them an environment which they do.
So how does it work practically to have three teachers in a classroom at Pioneer Academy?
Sure, and it varies from 2 to 3. And the core model usually will have one more experienced teacher with one apprentice teacher who are working together. And basically what we structure is that we create a lot of time for teachers to plan together. So it starts with the planning, and teachers are planning for the next day, and they're working together to create the lesson plans. And then when they're actually teaching, it really varies by format. So for example, in a grade R class, in a grade 1 class, you may have one teacher working with a small group of 5 to 6 students on what we call an investigation. That's like a project where you're trying to, students have generated a question and they're trying to research it. So one teacher may be coaching a group of 5, while the other teacher is working in centers with the other 15 to 20 students. And so you've got that kind of collaboration happening all the time in our classrooms.
Innovation, as I mentioned at the beginning, is really the buzzword around education.
Sure.
Is how to tailor make and create solutions that really drive that connection between the content we're teaching and the understanding.
Yeah.
What does innovation mean to you in education?
It means it's not just about the practice, which we do, like how you teach and how you organize learning. It's actually about what you want for your students. And so, in fact, Pioneer Academies was established on a realization that we need our students to be able to create the world. We need a belief that students can. It takes a lot of belief in your students, and we believe deeply in our students' capability. And so innovation means preparing young people to be able to not just memorize facts and perform well on tests. It's important to perform well on tests, but also to be able to be thought leaders, be able to work together and collaborate, and to build their own character skills so that when they go out in the world, they're in a position to say, I can shape the world, whether it's here in South Africa, whether it's across the continent, or whether it's across the world.
So whether that system is 2 or 3, I can only imagine that if you've got somebody who's prepared, when the team prepares a lesson, that you, in an environment like that, nobody is overlooked, because while the teacher is teaching and somebody that's struggling to follow, you have a second or third teacher who's able to then spend a couple of minutes with that child and saying, well, this is actually the process.
Absolutely. I mean, if you ask our secondary school students at Pioneer Academy or Monday, what's different about being at school there, they'll talk about being in an environment with multiple teachers. And what they cite us, they really talk about 2 things. One is, yes, if we are working on a particular concept or particular problem or project and I need support, I can actually, one teacher is able to work with me while the other teacher continues to lead the class. That's one benefit. The other benefit is when we are debating a topic in history or in literature, I can have adults who differ, and I can see that the teachers can have different points of view on this and bring multiple perspectives to the same topic. Both of those are really great supports and role modeling for students who you want to build as thinkers.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay. Pioneer Academy CEO Chinezi Chijioke talking to us about team teaching and the concept of having 2 to 3 teachers in a classroom and what that innovation really means for your little one. We take an ad break. Don't go anywhere. Cheers.